University, my own 7. I got to be there for those, so that was really a treat. And one of the things that I'll just share briefly on my story, because I thought I was going to be a doctor of practice as that, because that's what I trained for the rest of my life. And what I discovered I love, was really working with people to change their thinking and what's possible, like having a birth at home. That was a little bit not the average kind of experience in the Chicago area, and then parenting and different choices thereon. And what ended up happening is actually reaching a point where we were starting our own family, had 3 young kids, of whom the oldest is here with me today, Gigi, and started talking with my wife, Rochelle, about cutting back some of our hours in clinic so we could have more time together as a family. And what ended up happening with some of the changes in medicine is the opposite was happening, and I suddenly realized, as a young dad and a young doctor, how not in control of my time I was. And the person who introduced me was very wise, because I actually did not come in because of the scanner or technology or even because of the nutritionals. I came in because of a question that was asked me at that time, because it wouldn't have mattered to me before that, but at that time when I was starting to realize how not in control of my time I was asked, Ben, you mentioned wanting to have more time with your family. Is that still something you're thinking about? And my answer was yes. Why do you ask? And then he opened the door for me to look at a possibility to meet some partners, and it totally changed my life. And just so you know, because I know many of you want to reach health professionals or know a health professional, I didn't talk to a single health professional during my whole being prospected time. It wasn't until after I joined the business that I started meeting some of the health professionals and others here. But it was what I was looking for my family, and having a means to make a difference in people's lives in a different way that could go beyond the office and allow me to have freedom with my family and be able to introduce that to other parents as well. And then I started to see the difference this was making in people's lives and what a vehicle this would be for me. So how many of you are new enough that you've never had a chance to be scanned? Okay? Only a few of you? Everyone else has been scanned here? Oh, cool. So the lines won't be long, because at lunchtime you can get scanned right around the corner here in the glass pavilion around the corner. So you can go get scanned. It only takes 30 seconds of actually having your hand on this. So you want to make sure you get that experience. But what I want to do for all of us, because we're getting exposed to a lot of different things here, and Alan gave us a huge tip, which was focus. Okay? So what I want to do for us right now, because there's a lot of different things we could talk about, and we're going to talk about some of them, but I think of Nu Skin kind of like a mansion. All right, and when we come to a beautiful house, this beautiful home, we got to start somewhere. Some of us come through the front door, some of us come through the kitchen door. Some of you might just come into the foyer, get their toothpaste, and then leave, and not come back until they need another toothpaste. And then some people are in the foyer, and they notice these people in the living room having a good time, and like, what's going on? Maybe I want to explore a little more, or have something more, and they start exploring more, okay? And then eventually you might get exposed to that, hey, there's other rooms in this house. During this leadership conference, you're getting exposed to that there's a lot more to this house. And so what we're going to do very quickly is open up even some more rooms, just so you know that they're there, okay? And then how many of you enjoy hearing Dr. Joe Chang and Mark Bartlett, in the sense that you realize there's a solid foundation of science to what we do, even though we don't all have to know it, but we like knowing that that foundation is there. So we get exposed to this house, and then we can start to focus in on the things that we enjoy. And how many of you would like, no matter the same number of people in your business, the same number of customers, how many of you would like to almost automatically multiply the volume by 3 to 5 times? Okay? So that's also why we're talking this about. So I would write down a couple words as I'm talking. And one word I would write down is redirection. Redirection of spending. Because how many of you know most of your people that you're talking about are already spending some money somewhere on their appearance, on their skin, or a lot of them are spending money on nutritionals and different things like that. Okay? So we want to start helping people realize they can redirect those dollars here. And then how many of you are starting to hear stories now, and we've heard, we know there are different ones throughout the history of Nu Skin, but especially now with social selling, of people who maybe were used to a certain level of income, and very quickly they're experiencing a whole other level of income because of what's happening with their Nu Skin business. So now they have new dollars to invest. Do you want all those dollars going out to Nordstrom's and other places, or do you want to be able to provide them more ways they can get solutions here within their own business? All right? And then the second word I would write down besides redirection is invest. So as you get more income from your business, you can actually invest in yourself more. Okay? And the third word I write down is reward. You can actually reward yourself. So I would put maybe on your margin or the top of your page or second shepherd page, I'd write down 2 words. Write down wish list. And before you leave this weekend, I would write down on that wish list some of the products you heard about or you saw in the store that you want to start putting on your wish list. That either you're going to go add to your ADR or experience right away because you have the budget for it and that's something you want to invest in, or if you're new and building your business, building your income, you want to have an ongoing wish list that as your volume grows and your check grows and your team grows, that you then can add these things. You can reward yourself with these added solutions that you can invest in yourself and how you feel or how you look. Okay? Is that a deal? Yeah. All right, the wish list. So we want to do that. So one of the fun things about this, and this is even some fun word tracking, a tool that we have. How many of you have seen the wonderful new S3 scanner videos that are on YouTube that Nu Skin put out? Filmed right here in the Innovation Center with Ruth Todd. Gives some great word tracking. There's a whole 16-minute version, there's a 5-minute version extract, and there's a 2-minute extract. So great way to refresh yourself if you want, and a tool for you. And one person mentioned in there, just real briefly, that the science that this is based on, Raman spectroscopy, is Nobel Prize-winning science. So one of the fun things is just, hey, we've got a device, looks kind of Star Trek-y, and based on Nobel Prize-winning science. And how many of you know that people like technology, they like new things, something that's different? Okay, so this can be a door opener to a conversation. And just like Alan said with the spawn, with demoing, it's kind of the sizzle, but then it opens a door to people really connecting or having a conversation. So we have some execs, like I have a couple of new execs in the Northern California that are enjoying, while they're learning social selling and expanding there, they're also having conversations face-to-face with people and getting them scanned and getting them started on some of the nutritionals that we have. And how many of you still talk to people once in a while? You're not just on your phones. Yeah, some of you still do? Okay, some of us still do. So I want to also give you some word tracking that we can use as we connect with people. And how many of you realize that with the toothpaste, one of the things that's really helping it go viral is the pictures? Okay? Now, the pictures, is it a picture of the tube of toothpaste that really makes a difference, or is it a picture of the before and after of the teeth?
Before and after.
Okay? So how many of you know that when we start talking about nutritional, sometimes we talk about the nutritional, almost like we're showing a picture of a tube of toothpaste, okay? But how do we do a before and after with the nutritional? Well, one of the big things is a story. But the story, it's a very special kind of story. The story is a before and an after. Your story has to show change, okay? So a framework I want to give you, and this could be a 1-sentence story or a 3-sentence story. It doesn't have to be a long story. But tell a story of a before and after experience with this solution. And then the second part of the framework is ask a question. Okay? So you may say, I was feeling like this, and then I found the solution. You don't even have to say the name of the solution. How many of you know the toothpaste is selling like crazy without saying the name of the toothpaste? Okay? So you don't have to go talk, because they're not going to know the names of these products. But if you say how you were feeling before, and then I discovered the solution, and now this is happening for me, okay? You've painted a picture in their mind, almost like showing them a picture of before and after, and then you ask them a question. Would something like that ever be of interest to you? Or a great question that I actually heard from some of us heard from a trainer in the industry years ago is, I don't know if this will work for you the way it did for me, but what if it did? Would you want to try it out and see? Okay? In fact, before we talk about some specifics, let's practice saying that out loud. You guys are busy writing it down, but let's practice saying that out loud, because this avoids us making claims or promises, but it does allow us to ask a question and invite someone to take a step and experience it too. So you tell a story, and then we're going to ask them this statement with a question. I don't know if it worked for you. Let's say that together. I don't know if it worked for you the way it did for me.
The way it did for me.
But what if it did?
But what if it did?
Would you want to try it out and see?
Would you want to try it out and see?
How many of that's a very non-threatening but very inviting way to, if you receive that question, to try something, okay? And without making unusual claims or promises. And you can also use someone else's story, okay? Sometimes I tell someone else's story because it wasn't my personal experience. I'll say, I know someone who, and I'll mention that story because someone just told me they're tired or something, they're not having the same get up and go they used to have, or whatever. I might mention a story, it might be someone else's. Oh, I know someone who was feeling like you, and then they discovered this solution, and now they're feeling like this. I don't know if it worked for you the way it did for them or for her, but Let's say the second part again. But what if it did? Would you want to try it out and see? Okay, so everybody, hopefully you've heard something. How many have already encountered something in the store or here, heard something that either you didn't know about and you realized, wow, I want to try that too, or you're a long timer and you got reminded of something that you've kind of not really thought about and you realize, ooh, I want to make sure I use that as well. Any of you have that experience this weekend? Okay, so remember your wish list. All right, how many of you have a little, oh, it's not there. Okay. How many of you have some stress have ever experienced stress in your life? Anybody not always sleep as much as they should or want to? Okay. Anybody ever kind of skip or fudge on meals or eat a little differently? Thank you, Martha. All right. All right. So one of the big, almost everybody experienced some stress, and one of these favorite solutions is because both the price point is in that social selling price point, or even if you're face to face, a great price point. But also one of the neat things is how many of you realize and would like to be able to experience yourself, or if you already have, share with someone else something that could feel a difference relatively quickly. Okay, maybe even that same day or within a few days. That same week. So how many of you have had opportunity to experience Cortisol? And Brian Cameron showed some great slides on several of these products, great tips. So, but this is a huge one. Relatively accessible price point, under $50 retail, and also on ADR, even better. And you can really experience a lot of change. And I know for me, as a busy physician, going from, sometimes feeling like I had 10 different things happening at once between being a doctor and having kids and then starting a business here. Any of you sometimes have so many things on your mind that it's hard to actually do one thing because you kind of frazzled. And what I noticed when I took this is I could immediately start to go from item to item to item a lot more zen and a lot more effectively, okay? And then how many of you ever are running, and then at night your head hits the pillow and it won't stop, your mind won't stop, it's hard to go to sleep, okay? I noticed that when my head hit the pillow, it would shut off and I could go to sleep. And how many of you want to be able to, when you do need to get up, you don't want to feel groggy or drowsy or things like that. I also noticed if I got paged in the night to answer a delivery or a call, that I didn't have that groggy feeling, get up and do what I needed to do. So how many of you, if you ever experienced any of those feelings, would like a solution that would allow you that kind of relief and that kind of effectiveness, okay? So this is a wonderful one, Cortisol, and you can share a before and after story, and you can invite someone to try it. And what is that phrase? I don't know if it worked for you the way it did for me, but what if it did? Would you want to try it out and see? Okay? Now, I like to kind of focus on a couple things at different price points. We have Cortisol. Now, what's the next thing? Actually, I'm going to hold this here for 1 minute. How many of you know what this is? Okay? So energy. How many of you know people that would like more energy? Okay? And how about more energy without artificial stimulants and the ups and downs of caffeine and sugar and some things like that, but something that's really good for you? Okay? And this actually restores energy, and it's working with gene expression science, okay? And where are the three main areas that use this energy? Our brain, our heart, and our muscle, okay? And this is actually promoted to restore vitality in three major areas, right? Mental, physical, and then one other that you can look up, okay? And if you look it up, I think you'll be pleased at what you find. And the neat thing is all three of them work for both men and women, okay? So there's a lot of fun stories that come out of this one. Now, here's the neat thing, too. Sometimes you can combine things. We have an executive in the Chicago area who's done a wonderful job, Gary Ramberg, with just like people have introduced people to the business through toothpaste. He actually created some executives by first introducing them to a product experience with these two. Cortisol, because they had stress and they got an immediate experience, and now Vitality, because over time, that was the newest one at that time that affected gene expression, and they could experience the long-term benefits. And a couple women in particular, middle of life, things had kind of slowed down, the creativity was not there, they're not sleeping as well. The way they described it, they said because they were taking both, within a week they started feeling like the lights started to come back on, the creativity was coming back, their energy was coming back, it was life-changing for them. And then you could say, I don't know if it worked for you, the way it did for them, but what if it did? Would you want to try it out and see? And then if we have, a third thing, going up another price point, what's the premium anti-aging supplement that we have based on gene expression science? Okay, youth. And what I love, this is so cool. I mean, this is the geek in me a little bit, but look at these 2 capsules. And you got the liquid and the solid in the same capsule. And again, show and tell, sometimes you can't demo this on their face, but experiment with putting this in people's hands. Or how about Life Pack? You know, put something in their hand as you're talking to them and start to give people an experience as you're scanning or as you're talking to them so they can start seeing themselves using this. How easy this would be to open up twice a day or to take these 2 capsules twice a day. What an amazing solution, and you can share a story or an experience again. Now the neat thing with the technology is it is different. You know, whenever people see this, they want to get scanned. You know, they want to experience it. But then you want to bring it to a conversation of what concerns them with a story and a possible solution. And then they can track the results over time, which is really cool. And, you know, with LifePack and with these solutions, we have the only multivitamin mineral anti-aging supplement that actually has a performance guarantee that you can objectively measure, actually see in your own body the changes over time with your carotenoid score. And you have a 60-day performance guarantee that if the score doesn't go up, you get your money back. There's no other supplement I know of that has that and has that ability to measure like that. So it's amazing. Now with youth, it's what's pretty cool is how many of you know you have some combo ADRs that are huge savings. So you can match youth with your Life Pack, all right? $155 on ADR and free shipping. So it's like only for $14 because now you're exiting out the shipping. You get a whole nother like $60 product with your youth, or you could add that Vitality. Same thing, okay, as an example. So depending where someone's ready to invest, and then you, without overwhelming, I'll mention it real briefly, you know, we have R Squared. If you want to know the 3 that deal with gene expression, it's our youth, and then R Squared includes Vitality, and it has one more part at night while you're sleeping that helps your cells clean out all the gunk. How many of you like while you're sleeping, just have all this the gunk clean out? So these are just some amazing things. You also have Jungamalls for your kids, and then another big one on social selling is tea green. You know, and you saw that yesterday. Each capsule, 7 cups of green tea. You know, helps with antioxidants, your antioxidant status, helps with your metabolism. Just an amazing solution that many of us take every day. Another combination that's kind of fun is, well, how many of you have gotten to taste this? I love this, especially when I'm hot or thirsty. My kids drink it. An easy way to get some great antioxidants and other health benefits and be able to measure it on the scanner. And I'll mention a fun combination that's easy to take. And also, how many of you know a lot of people have issues with their gut and with absorption? There is a product we have called ProBio. How many of you have heard of probiotics? Okay, one of the things about our ProBio, it's actually been shown to be very effective at getting past the stomach and actually colonizing the gut. So you might, just like we talk about how do you know your supplements are working and whether you're absorbing the antioxidants, you can measure. Well, same with the ProBio. How do you know the probiotic you're taking off the shelf is actually not just getting killed in your stomach or dying on the shelf, but actually getting into your intestines? Our ProBio has been shown to be very effective at doing that. And you combine that with G3 juice to really help people's gut and help their absorption and digestion, and this will actually enhance your absorption of other products. So we're basically out of time, but I want to make sure that you at least have that understanding of redirection, of investment, of your wish list, of everybody enhancing their exposure to more and more of this beautiful house and the solutions we have as you're building your business. And then remember that idea when you're talking about nutritionals, in addition to having a technology when it's available, is use a story. What kind of story? Before, after story, and then ask a question. Okay? So I hope that assists you, and we look forward to really celebrating with you all as we continue to change people's lives and work towards South Africa together.